I come for this short video to a beautiful park in this city beautiful, Chandigarh, which is one of the most planned cities. Of course, there are problems with its environment in these days, which I've been taking up on my YouTube. But today I'm talking on climate change and pollution, which are global issues. So I'm speaking in not in Hindi but in English. I wanted to act locally and think globally, so I thought unless I spoke the language which is spoken in the region, I won't reach anywhere. But this issue of climate change and air pollution is a global issue on which we need to talk scientifically, objectively, honestly and forcefully. About 3.5 years back, I spoke on climate change in the holy city of Amritsar in a heritage college called Khalsa College, which is about 110 years old. And the Botany Club had called me for that talk. My talk was very objective and truthful, and one student got so touched by it that she recommended my name for the first ever TEDx talk being held in Amritsar. I'm an old man, never ever been invited to any TEDx talk, but today the talk which that talk I gave was on the TEDx talk was on water pollution and the water scarcity. My issue was that water is not scarce, but the drinkable water is almost getting totally polluted the world over. It may not be true for many countries because they still have lots of drinkable water. But air pollution is an issue with many, many countries, especially the developing countries. India has the very poor distinction of having at times 16, at times 14, at times 15, and our national capital region has been often called the dirtiest air quality region. One of the most beautiful and green cities of the world, historic cities of the world, having this sort of dubious distinction is surely an embarrassment, and it needs corrective action. But such corrective actions are required the world over. Today I initiate through these short videos, which will be uploaded on my YouTube channel Earth Talks and also on my Facebook for friends and colleagues across the world. This will be a short one, but we will have regular such discussion, and gradually colleagues from across the country and across the world will join me. My discussion on the climate change and pollution issues has been on for last several decades. It picked up from the 2004 International Geological Congress in Florence, Italy. There was a climate panel meet which attracted me, and I innocently walked into it. And I happened to ask a very honest and innocent question, which should be asked by everyone but is not being asked. My question was, how much of the global warming or climate change, whatever you may call it, is man-made, and how much is natural? The speaker was yet to answer me, but one gentleman, a white-skinned and obviously from some European country or maybe across to America or Australia, got up. Later I got to know that he was the chief of climate panel of Canada. That this man is talking nonsense. I felt a bit astonished at his anger. No question should be called nonsense. No question is stupid. I could be called careless, because his point was that if I start saying this, that man is not contributing 100% to global warming or climate change, people will get casual about it and they'll pollute more. That's not true. But the question still remains, Earth history is replete with ice ages and global warming periods. The whole process has been up and down, up and down. It has never been one process of straight up. No, never. This is a natural process. It's true. But I felt that perhaps the geologists have not been able to put across to the world that global warming and cooling are natural processes, by and large. Man has nothing to do with those long-term, large-scale global coolings and warming. In fact, man is a very poor creature who was not even on the planet when huge global warming happened during Dinosaurian times, and there was a period of sea level rise. All the oil in the Middle East we have because of that global warming and the sea level rise. The dinosaurs, which lived on this planet for 15.5 crore, we call it crore in India, but 155 million years, saw the real grandeur of global warming and sea level rise. But geologists, they were not geologists. They were living on a different paleogeography. It was not the same. The continents were not what we have today. India was, for instance, a triangular island far into the south. Dinosaurs virtually, they didn't understand. They could not have understood this science, but their clan was witness historically to the split of those continents and movement of India north. That's all. And what is not talked about is the volcanicity. Volcanicity is the biggest natural pollution. It can cause darkening of skies for hundreds and thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years. In fact, the dinosaurs were wiped out from the planet by the second biggest volcanic activity on this planet. That is the Deccan volcanics, the huge green patch on the geological map of India, which is representing that remnants of that flood basalts, whose thickness is about 4.75 kilometers at places. I have actually worked in those Deccan volcanics in the initial periods of my Geological Survey of India field mapping in Hyderabad. That paper was recently referred in Paleo 3 in Holland, Ahluwalia 1990. But issue is this, today also we have about 52 active volcanoes. One of the volcanoes erupted under the sea water in the Tonga Island. It went up with such a force. In fact, the Mount St. Helens volcano, which had erupted in 1980, for the last 5 years, geologists have been looking at it with great caution and suspicion. In fact, tourists have started going there to see when is it going to burst. The huge volcanoes in Indonesia, and the entire, you see, I'm not here to talk about the volcanoes, but my point is this: man cannot do a fraction of what volcanoes can do. But whatever man is doing, my question is this: why is it still doing? Why this creature is still polluting his own world, the world of his kids, the world of future? Why? Why the hell? And why are trees being cut today? Why? They were cut in the beginning of industrial pollution, industrial revolution. I call it industrial pollution. But talking about air pollution, talking about climate change, and literally doing nothing to stop the climate change or global warming. If indeed if man is the sole cause of global warming and climate change, why is man not more responsible? Why are the governments not more serious? Why is only lip sympathy being paid to climate change and pollution, etc., etc.? The air pollution is a very, very serious issue. It's causing the blackening of our lungs. It's shortening our lifespan. Let's not discuss academic issues, but discuss the earthly issues, the issues of life and death, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, which face us, which are going to affect our future generations, which are going to affect the birth or life of the future generation, even our generation. So I conclude with saying we will carry on this discussion periodically, maybe every week. We'll have lots of colleagues joining me on Google Meet and whatever way, maybe this way only. I would request friends from across the world to pull in with this YouTube Earth Talks, or I would request TED to hold more talks by commoners on climate change and air pollution and natural pollution and man-made pollution. Instead of only inviting experts, what is important is this, that we have the man of the street joining in this discussion. It's a very important discussion. We should not hold it to only scientists, because the word of scientists on climate change is divided. This is not actually often talked about. About 750 scientists are called skeptics. They believe climate change is entirely a natural process. Man-made pollution is a temporary phase, a phase all right, but not that significant that we can ignore the natural component. My question, I come back to it, and we'll continue to find answers to it. How much of global warming or climate change is man-made? How much is natural? How much are these volcanoes contributing? What's the possibility of a huge volcano erupting and polluting the entire world? I conclude with saying, often huge volcanicity results in darkening of skies and an ice age. Watch out if we face such an unpredictable global cooling. Let's prepare for pollution. Let's carry on the discussion. Noise pollution is happening. Let me conclude here.